I get asked to do commercials all the time, and I always say the same thing. First, I need some hot chicks. Second, we film at my house, so I ain't gotta go anywhere. Third, I record my own song. Yo! Bring it! Cool, refreshing, nice tea, drink it! And once I try their products, I always hate them, so I bounce. Damn, that is pretty good! But I got one final demand.
No, we can't change the name to Eminem. Shut up and drink it. Ice!
See? That's why I don't do commercials!
My turn around. Twisted. To meet the Carmel king of the castle, keeping his tight, CL smooth, sipping on Sprite. It's the Mechadon, never swerving untitled. Knowing commercial rap needs to be recycled. Yeah. Collecting cans for Nick's picks, my latest LP. Now obey my thirst, son, precisely.
I got the knack to rock, I'm steady heating up the spot. The chocolate boy wonder making heads bop. Plus to be up and down on that chair.
This is how we work it. Grab the big Sprite and you know we jerk it. Right out the fridge. It's just like this with a dab dib. Yeah.
I give a pound to my man with my right hand. Yes. Because I keep the Sprite in the left hand.
Okay.
And then I push the button when I don't want to hear nothing. I let it go when I want to hear something.
Yeah.
This is how we flow when we in the studio. Freestyle with Sprite. Yo, how the rest go? First things first, obey your thirst. Sprite, alright?
I'm the Tim Duncan.
And he ain't frontin', drives the rock and he'll show you something.
Kobe Bryant, slam dunk giant, outplayed the Kobe, son, don't try it.
It's Kobe and Tim, both games are tight. Grabbing points like they grab a Sprite. Game action like movie stunts. Obeying the curse with Missy scoring points. Obey your thirst, Sprite.
I'll take a Coke.
Is Pepsi okay?
Is Pepsi okay? Is Pepsi okay? How? Our puppy's okay. He's a shooting star, okay? Is the laughter of a small child okay? Are you with me? You seem confused. Let's role play. Now.
Okay, I'm Steve. I'm an actor.
No. Just order something.
I'll have...
You will have a nice cold glass of the best thing you ever tasted, okay?
Okay.
I think you might be just saying it wrong. You gotta say it with pride, okay? Okay. Oh, yeah, kind of. Pepsi's more than okay. It's okay! Okay, what have we learned today?
You want a Pepsi?
I want a Pepsi.
She wants a Pepsi. There you go. Like Lil Jon. Okay.
So thank you so very much, everyone in the audience. Thank you for being here with us this evening, the last panel, Save the Best for Last. You could be anywhere in the world right now, in the words of Jay-Z, but you're here with us, the Cultural Initiative, the originators of, or the founders of 92 through 96, those conferences. And I appreciate all of your love in the chat. I thank you so very much. And from the bottom of my heart, I must give homage and praise to the Most High, who's the head of my life, God, Jesus Christ. Thank you so very much. And at this point, we'll definitely move on into our panel. So this is the commercials that you guys saw in the beginning. I want you guys to realize that I asked PowerMove to, run those commercials before the marketing panel. This is how hip hop, the culture, has influenced mainstream media. You saw all of those commercials from Sprite, which Sprite was one of our sponsors of the hip hop conference. Nike. I mean, just utilizing the gruttiness of Grand Poobah, in the 90s for the Sprite commercial. Eminem, of course, he was mainstream, but just utilizing hip hop for their brand is amazing, and it speaks volumes to how marketing is a tool of success. Just a little bit about myself. My name is Alberta Coker. My nickname is Geisha. Everyone knows me as Geisha. Graduated from Howard University, and I am one of the individuals that was there in the beginning from 1991, the original hip hop conference created out of the protests, the activism, Hughes administration, Haq Islam. That 1991 conference set the precedent for and the birth of the company, the Cultural Initiative, which I am one of the founding founders of the company. And as one of the founding members, I held the position of Vice President of Marketing. I did the marketing for the entire 5 conferences after 1991, and my esteemed panelists were part of a team that without them I couldn't have done it. And I just want to just pay homage to all of you. After the conference, 1996, I'm a graduate of Howard University, graduated with an accounting degree. Accounting became very boring. I moved to New York City. I became an intern at Bystorm Entertainment under the auspices of Michelle Joyce. Bystorm Entertainment managed Changing Faces, Biggie Smalls, JC Lee. And then I went to interning at Universal Records under the leadership of Kelly Green, which shaped the careers of Erykah Badu, A+, Big Bub, Chico DeBarge. And after that, you know, I worked with the publicity department at Universal. Kelly actually went to Sony. I became the marketing director of Curator. And then that's when Grenique had come in. Then that's when India Irie came in. So it's been a great journey for me in this entertainment industry. At this present time, I am an entrepreneur myself. I work for not-for-profit. I'm a job coach in Onondaga County, and I love it. I love it. I help individuals get jobs and secure a livelihood, not just a Burger King job, but a career. Here in Syracuse, New York, I work with a lot of young people that, you know, they need a second chance, and I'll leave it at that. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce my esteemed panelists. And like I said, everyone that's out in the audience, CI for life, you know what that means to us. There were, as the Vice President of Marketing for the conference, without marketing, there is no product. Without marketing, there are no salespeople. Without marketing, there is no revenue. And that's for any industry, not just the hip hop industry, not just the hip hop culture, but for any business. So I just want to make that clear. I don't want to leave anyone out. I had a team of 100 volunteers. I had a registration team. We managed all the panels. We did all the marketing and promotions. We wrapped vans. Wrapped vans back then, please be clear, it wasn't like professional. We took our poster that Shadow Productions made, shout out to you, Kyle, and we put tape and we taped it to the van that we rented from Enterprise. Okay, so please believe. And then we drove around at night because we did not have legal rights to post these flyers on campuses, UDC campuses, Coppin State, the high schools, polls downtown DC. We did it all. Cephas was my right-hand man, okay? Elsa graduated, you know, Derek kind of graduated from underneath my wing. They had their own positions. But as I said, let me introduce my esteemed panelists and they can tell you their own stories. First and foremost, I'm going to introduce my panelists as their industry stint. They are all doing beautiful and very accomplished in this day and time in 2021, and I'll allow them to expound upon that. But most notably, I'm going to let you know what they've done after the conference, directly after the conference. First and foremost, Derek Dudley, most notable for shaping and managing careers for record labels such as Jermaine Dupri, and most notable for being Common Census Manager. Now it is Common. Wave your hand, Derek, my boy. And as in the conference, he actually played the role of a registration coordinator. There are stories to tell about Derek. And please understand that we were all students. No one was on a professional level. I was a senior. I don't know exactly, what level of where they were in the university, but listen, they helped me out a great deal. I mean, I had a lot to bear. Marketing drives revenue, like I said. Without us and our team, the registration would not, we had to drive people to the conference, not just artists. Elsa was in charge of the artists. Big O was in charge of doing the panels and artists. I'm saying students. We wanted students from across the United States to know that this conference existed. And they helped me to do that. So Derek played the role of the marketing, the registration coordinator. Then we have Elsa. Elsa is the greatest publicist that you would ever meet. She doesn't want to admit that, but she's the greatest publicist you'll ever meet. Her writing skills is ridiculous. And she's going to speak about that, how publicity and marketing has changed the culture. And most notably, she has worked with Eric Robeson, which is an independent R&B artist, very, very successful in his independency. And I give him a shout out for that. And then we'll have Jasmine Young, and her stint out of college. She was a coordinator for Def Jam. First position, Def Jam as a coordinator. But of course, it doesn't take soon for the Bison to rise above the occasion. She became the senior director of marketing for Def Jam, working with artists such as DMX, Slick Rick, EPMD. The list goes on. I'll let her explain her own story. And last but not least, we have two more. Then we have Big O. Big O, he looks different. Everyone can see the hat, right? I'll let him describe his international relations. Big O was another sidekick of mine in regards to doing promotions late night, going to Kinko's, running off flyers, running off registration forms, because we have distributed them all. Big O's first stint, he had received a production deal with Sony Music for various artists that he worked with, and became a musical host of different showcases throughout New York City. Hats off to you, Big O, Omar. I appreciate you, brother. And last but not least, we have Cephas, Ceph Dog. That's Ceph Dog. Everybody, that's Ceph Dog. Wave your hand at Ceph Dog. Okay. His industry experience goes to the audio engineering type of field, something like Jamil or Guru, Young Guru. He worked at Omega Studios in New York City for 9 years. Hats off to you, brother. Anything that you need. I'm surprised you're not at the back office. I love it. You know what I'm saying? But he did give me tips on my computer system, like, Geisha, you need to get it together. If you need help, let me know. So without further ado, thank you so very much. And Cephas, like I said, he was a part of the marketing team, late night. And we did a lot of late nights, I must say. Cephas, you can chime in at any time. You can probably start this question and answer here. What was your first industry gig out of Howard? And how did the hip hop conference or your workings with the hip hop conference and the cultural initiative influence your career decision? And this is a question for everyone. And what you're doing now, please, information of what you're doing now.
Cool. What is up, everybody? Again, it's great to see everybody. This is just a great experience. CI forever. That's all I gotta say.
CI till we die, baby.
Forever.
CI till we die, baby.
Geisha was a lot of late nights. I mean, I was following you. We were troopers. So we went everywhere, all over DC, putting up posters. But my first, to keep it simple, my first gig that I would say that I had, kind of from the conference was really with African American College Alliance. At that time, I was into art. By way, I did a lot of Jamil's, all the tape covers. Me and him were like inseparable. He did the music, I did the art. That was just the team then. And I got a gig doing design work at African American College Alliance, which now would be called Athleisure. but it was, some of the best hoodies, thickest hoodies out there, representing all the Black colleges and universities. And I got to do some design work there and then help with the promotion and the marketing in a small part. So that's what I would say my first big gig was, out of that. I was in 92 is when I came in. We came in, so I wasn't at the first conference, but ended up by day volunteer coordinator for all the years afterwards. I ended up doing that. Big shout outs to Steph, Jen, Laura. They were like my right hands right there, which, really taught me that you definitely need a team to do anything. And that's, even what I do now in my contract work with my company, I lead a team, but really I'm taking care and looking out for them. And that was the real big thing that you take away, is that you need a team of really dedicated and motivated people to help you do anything big, and I had just never experienced anything like that before. So thank you to all for that.
Derek, do I need to repeat the question?
All right, I got it. What's up, Sky family? Man, I'm blessed to be here. I mean, Geisha, when you called me about it, I was just like, wow, 30 years. Man. It's just great to be here. Great to be in front of, great to be with these panelists, everybody's family. Just great to be in this community, because it was just so instrumental and impactful on my life. And it's funny because I really didn't think about it until you called me, Geisha, and talked about this opportunity. And when we started talking about, when we had the pre-meetings before this, just really sitting back and thinking about, man, how influential the experience of being not only at Howard, but in particularly being a part of CI so influenced my career in entertainment. So man, this is just such a blessing to be here and to be able to share this time with everybody and really just reconnect. To answer your first question, my first job out of Howard was the reason I left Howard early, was because I was managing an artist named Common and ended up getting him a record deal. And that was the catalyst of me really leaving Howard early to pursue his record career. I mean, I was his manager. I left DC, came back to Chicago for a quick minute, basically packed my bags and moved to New York. And, lived in New York for about a year working on his first album. And then, the rest was history from there. I managed him for 30 years, literally. I think your second question was about, how did the experience of working at, being involved in CI, help influence my career. And, I think overall, it helped shape my business savvy. I've really learned the art of networking, multitasking, and the ability to do damn near anything that was thrown at me, because that's what we were in. We were in a situation, at that time, especially putting the first conference together, that, while my official title was registration coordinator, I think everybody was doing any job that they could. We were filling in for anybody. I think there were times, as small as I was doing security at something, right? Like, I was telling somebody, move out the way, you ain't supposed to be there. But, and it was just like, you had to get in where you fit in. And it was like, yo, I think, Geisha, one of your favorite lines is, make it happen. Like,
right.
Yo, make it happen. Like, I don't want to hear nothing else, but make it happen. And I think, that was just a real foundation and a building block for me going forward in my career. And, I owe a lot of that to my experience, with the cultural initiative. And definitely, just the accessibility that it gave me to be in a situation where I could, interact with people in the industry, right? People who I didn't know, that I looked up to. I mean, the artists, the executives, that would later become my friends and that I would later do business with, right? That foundation started, at the Cultural Initiative. And, so I think it was profoundly impactful on the success of my career, and still is to this day. I mean, it's a community, and I think just, I think we've all experienced just being able to use that badge of going to Howard or being a part of this conference as a way to open up a door, right? And it's just been so important. So,
Eric, I'd like to say too, just like you, I didn't get a degree from Howard, but I got a degree.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I just want to interject and let the audience know as well. A lot of like Tim's panel, if you tuned into Tim's or April's panel, they keep in contact. They're social media colleagues. I mean, they do social media. The panelists on their panel, they keep in contact with, or they've been in contact. April knows her contacts very, very well. They keep in contact, on if not a daily, a monthly. I just want the world to know that I haven't spoken with any of these individuals prior.
Uh-oh.
Come back to us.
Geisha, we lost you.
Since we parted ways from Howard. I haven't spoken with Cephas since we parted ways from Howard. I mean, I know what they're doing because I'll peruse Facebook, or I know what Common is doing. I follow Common all the time. So of course, if Common is doing well, Derek is doing well. That's his manager. They started, ground up with me. Big O, maybe, a homecoming. I may have seen Cephas, or maybe I've seen Omar during the 30-year span of coming to Howard University homecoming, or maybe not. Or I've heard that, Omar did a very nice occasion or a party in New York City. But other than that, I just want everyone to know these individuals, they are here, and this is dedication, this is loyalty, this is real family. This is the relationship that we established 30 years ago. I haven't talked to them. I have not spoken to them. Guru got me in touch. He gave me Derek's number. Of course, Derek is worldwide. I'm saying? I wouldn't have his number. Elsa keeps in contact with a sorority sister of mine. Cephas and Big O and Jazz, they are on Facebook. I could have reached out to them, which I did reach out to Jazz. Jazz just was initiated to my illustrious sorority, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, a public service sorority. You know what I'm saying? Salute, Jazz. So I could get in contact with them, but I just want everyone to know that this is not something that, these are not individuals that I keep in contact on a daily basis. And I want to let them know, in a last minute Negro time, I called them, I reached out to them, and they were at my beck and call, like, Geesh, whatever you need. And I apologize so wholeheartedly. Like, listen, I know this is last minute. I know you all have professional lives, families. Your calendars are probably full until May. But please, can you please squeeze me in the Cultural Initiative for this event this weekend? And with no question, they all were like, yes, Geesh, anything you need. And I really, really appreciate it. Elsa, it's on you, sis.
Well, I was going to say, follow up, that's what CI was. We don't have to be in contact with each other every day. It'd be nice, but the love is still there, and it always will be. You know what I mean? So, of course, we said yes. But just in way of introduction, I'm Elsa Lathan. I worked with CI from 92 to 96, officially as the public relations director under our vice president of publicity, Say Quiet Smith now. But I pretty much did everything. I worked with Derek in registration. I worked with Geisha in marketing. I worked with Cephas and handling the volunteers. I helped with planning panels and calling panelists and seeking sponsorship and all of that. So it was an all hands on deck type of thing, and I was more than happy to do it. My first job after CI was not actually my first industry job. Ironically, or strange enough, I came into Howard doing publicity for some Howard students, some, little known guys that were in a group called Two Kings in a Cipher, who went on to be part of the Hitmen and Mr. D. Angeletti and Ron Lawrence. And they had a group called Two Kings in a Cipher. And just so happens that my high school had an internship program. And the summer before I came to Howard, I worked with a PR company that were friends of my sister, who was a beautician. So just the dots connected in divine intervention. So I was their publicist my freshman year on campus, representing representing Pretty Special. And through them, through their connection with Hawk, who was managing them, is how I got to get into the inner circle of CI in the first conference. I didn't work the first conference, but I was able to meet everyone and come on board for the second conference. And that's how I got into CI. But my first industry job after CI was another CI connection. Lou Romaine, who was mentioned earlier today, was the creative director for Universal Records. And he allowed me to come be his intern. And I went from intern to creative marketing coordinator, where I wrote all of the commercials and the copy, or I wrote all of the words for the ads and commercials and billboards and all of that. So that's me.
Thanks, Elsa. I do appreciate it. And we're going to move right along. Big O.
What's up? Can you good? I'm gonna try to answer the question all in one. For one, I worked with CI. I came in '93 to work for the '94 conference, and my influences on that, of course, I worked with Elsa. Did anything Geisha asked me to do, which was my first marketing promotional gig, going around DC putting up flyers. But how I got into the fold was actually hilarious. It was actually through jazz, because my experiences with Howard that opened my eyes up were actually CI and Homecoming, and a lot of the staff overlapped the year. So I got involved with Homecoming. One day I'm walking through Blackburn, and a young lady walks up to me and say, "Look at your eyelashes," and start going like this and talk about how long my eyelashes were. And this is how it looked. And that was jazz. And after she made fun of me, she was like, "Now come volunteer." And was inseparable ever since, like even if I don't see jazz for a while, like we all hit each other up and so forth and stay tight, what have you. But that's what really opened my eyes up and got me in the fold of everything. So actually, if that didn't happen, I don't even think I would have been involved in CI. But being involved in that year, a lot of stuff overlapped. That's how I got involved. My experiences, I would say, is that just like the average Black teenager at that time, I went to a Black junior high, Black high school, so forth, and I didn't have knowledge of self, and I did not know. I felt like there was boundaries on what our people could do. And when I got to Howard, it just opened my eyes to everything, like I saw the hustle. I'm Jamaican, both of my parents. So right then I just thought we could be nurses and stuff like that, But going to Howard, I really saw the hustle, and it opened your eyes, and it just gave you like the broad spectrum of business in general, And the combination of that with knowledge of self just let me know that there's almost anything we can do. So with that said, after Howard, I got fortunate with all the marketing and promotions experiences, and even seeing people manage artists or what have you. I came back home, I want to say 97, back on the block. And at that time, everybody was rapping, you know? So of course I did like a lot of independent gigs here and there, but I had a bunch of talented cats in my neighborhood. So I started managing them actually. You know, and a lot of these cats needed help. Like they didn't even have the fundamentals, you know, they didn't have a basic marketing plan, website, bio, you know, and I came in, you know, with the experiences I got from Howard and CI, what have you, and I just gave them a format, you know, and with that said, sooner or later, I also hosted a panel series with ASCAP called Real Stories, and we had an A&R panel. And when I was actually hosting the panel and I played a song, and that song, off of that song from one of the guys I was managing, I had a production deal through Sony at the time. It was a small deal, but it was a good experience because I got to know the ins and the outs, you know, learn my poker face that everyone tells me. So that was my start.
Thank you, Big O. Last but not least, Miss Jazz Young. Let's go.
OMG. I just feel, everyone who knows me just know that I'm super emotional at all, you know, this whole time, and I'm just grateful. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to, you know, to share my story and to kind of reconnect and connect with the beautiful people that, you know, made the foundation for my life. So as I look at the screen, I'm just seeing like I have stories and experiences, you know, with everyone, and you know, I'm just reminiscing in my brain, and for some reason, a lot of the stories I was thinking that I couldn't remember. Right? I remember Derek Dudley had me invited me to the Nation of Islam meeting in Blackbird, and I went.
Yes, yes.
I went, and it was just life changing, and you know, just all of the things that you know you learned from the different perspectives. Me growing up, you know, Southern Baptist from South Jamaica, Queens, but just learning and growing with the beautiful people, not only on the screen, but you know, a part of CI, which is insane, just righteous. But so thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm overjoyed, and you know, for everyone who knows me knows that I'm emotional. And Omar, oh my gosh, like Omar said, you know, all of the, you know, if it was hip hop, it was for me, period, you know, and all of the opportunities on campus, you know, they came, and you see, you know, you have the hip hop conference, and then homecoming, and then the radio station. But if it was hip hop, it was for me. And, you know, that's to this day. So, you know, I remember, you know, interning for the CI and the marketing, and I really didn't know back then that, you know, marketing was going to be my thing, or actually, you know, my thing in general. I just was excited, you know, to be a part of, you know, oh my gosh, hip hop, right? And my love for hip hop came, you know, throughout my whole high school, you know, elementary, junior high, just my whole life. And I had the opportunity to actually support Big O and I's friend, DJ Johnny Wishbone. And, you know, that's a whole nother story as we kind of evolved, you know, in hip hop. But for me having the opportunity to work with you guys, and to, you know, it was late. I remember going to this, I think it was your house, Geisha, like off campus on a Sunday, and just meeting all the time. And it was like a row house with a gate. That's what I remember. And just, you know, getting the flyers and going to work. And just understanding, you know, attention. And, you know, that was the excitement of it. And it actually, you know, fed my thirst and fed my, you know, excitement to kind of move forward. And like O said, that year I became the volunteer coordinator for homecoming. I want to say 93. I graduated 94. So I was at Howard from 90 to 94, the most amazing and beautiful years that I could possibly, you know, describe, right? And I remember being the volunteer coordinator, you know, after I learned the foundation, you know, of all the things that I should do, you know, during the CI conferences and the CI cycles. And I ended up asking Def Jam. Well, I was interning for Def Jam, and that's a whole nother story, but we had a little Def Jam club on campus. And Cephas, our little Def Jam club on campus with Young Guru, with Jim Nice, Big O, and and Sydney Margetson from Atlantic Records now. Just an amazing group of people that, have, launched and gone off and just change. Literally, I call it changing the world. You guys, we have literally changed the world, and you don't know that back then. You just know that, you get this opportunity that you wanted to take full advantage of, right? So I remember asking Def Jam to actually sponsor the T-shirts, right, for that particular year. And they were like, at first, how many T-shirts? I was like, we have 300 volunteers across, but I was just like, you would get the drop on all of the rest of the labels, right? Because, oh my gosh, imagine 300 people walking around campus, with your actual logo on it. So I remember, you guys remember wearing those shirts, those green shirts, orange shirts that said volunteer on the back, but blessing. And I don't even have one to this day, but I know the value, right? And back then, I don't even know that, I, like I said, realized that this was marketing, that I wanted to do marketing, or that it would define, my career. So fast forward to upon graduation, or upcoming graduation, I wrote this in true Howard University form. You do things out of courage, or you do things out of ignorance, right? It's either or. You just, what do you mean like, it can't happen? What do you mean? Like, I'm just, and a lot of that has gotten me in trouble in real life, I want to say as well, because it's just like, what do you mean? Of course it can happen. Like, I don't understand. Just like, make it happen. And that, became, a part of who I am, the fabric of, what made me. But I just wrote I wrote a 10-page, and no, I don't think that anyone really knows this, but I wrote a 10-page essay as to why they should hire me for director of college promotions at Def Jam, right? And so Leor Cohen, who's now the president of YouTube, got the paper and was just like, they were laughing, they just thought it was hysterical, but they also, remembered and knew my work ethic. So I ended up, but he also said that job was for a boy and I had to take a girl job, right? So I took
terrible.
Hello.
Terrible.
I took the promotions coordinator job, and I sat outside of Julie Greenwald's office at, no, that's a lie. First, before we were at 298 Elizabeth, that's 298 Elizabeth. And then when we moved to 160 Varick, I took the promotions coordinator job. I sat outside of Julie Greenwald's office, and it was actually history, from there. And like I said, you didn't know that it was going to be history. You just were so grateful for the opportunity to be a part of, hip hop, right? Not in front of the lens, right? Just pushing into this movement and the business of hip hop, which became like this super blessing to me. So I guess, I started to move forward into realizing my passion, and it was marketing. OMG, could you imagine? And they just started to give me little projects now I want to say little projects, but projects from there. And I remember my first project on my own was probably Flatliners, and which was Russell's nephew and Brooklyn people, right? Great, one of the greatest experiences. And then I just worked my way. And then, I remember signing Rockefeller and being awarded, either awarded or rewarded a group called, I'm going to say the label called Rockefeller, and ending up, doing the first 5 albums for Jay-Z. Like, but back then, marketing, I have marketing plans, right? But at the end of the day, you don't know that work is going to be iconic. Like, and I don't have a lot of the, the saved memories or the, but I realized now more recent now that, I'm sorry, the pup, more recent now that, that became history. And then, that started, my career. And most recently, that's it. But that's just who I am. And again, thank you so much for this opportunity to, continue to share my story, to continue to kind of, pour out, but also to continue to learn, absorb, and, to be a part of, what people didn't realize was this, massive global movement from then until now.
Thanks, Jazz.
Let me jump in and say one thing, and it's really important. One
of
the
course.
reasons why after Howard, why I felt so empowered is that we were popping after, like I got back to New York in '97, and you had Jazz at Def Jam, you had Sidney Markison at Atlantic, you had AJ on 106, you had Al was hits on BET, Ananda had a show, Teen Summit, whatever, and then you turned on the radio and it was like, it's party time. And I'm like, these are all my
it's party time.
And it was all your people that you knew, people that you had class with, and that empowered you. That just opened you up to say, look, there's a lot we can do and contribute. So I just had to toss that in.
Say it, tell it, That's the truth.
Absolutely.
But you know what's amazing, you guys? It's crazy that you said 97. I was in the same office. I said it prior to, in my introduction. I was an intern at Bystorm Entertainment who managed Tracy Lee. So we all were in New York City. Let's go back. I said that I haven't talked to you guys in over 30 years since you left Howard. But it's amazing. I was living in Brooklyn. I was working for Universal Records. I did the tour with Erykah Badu for 3 years. So I was at Universal. Jazz was at Def Jam. Elsa was with me at Universal. Derek was, he wasn't with me at Universal, but we were in contact, for Common's album, was it like Water Like Chocolate, or that album they were working on. Plus, shouts out, I got to give kudos, Erykah and Common, I brought them to the studio. Plug. I brought them to the studio in New York City. Okay, they met. I don't care what kind of story they have, but I know the original story. Please believe. So it's amazing that we were all in this industry. And Jazz, I didn't even know that you were at Def Jam. Omar, I didn't even know that you were in the industry in New York City when I was at Universal and with Bystorm Entertainment. I don't recall us crossing paths or knowing. Did you know that? Did you guys know that, Kelly and I was at Curator Entertainment and we were interaction.
I knew
Elsa was working in the publicity department. Did you know?
I knew that you were in the Universal building. I remember that much.
Oh, okay. Did you know Cephas?
I did not.
When you were at Lego Studios?
I knew about Jazz because I was one of the first of the of the college Def Jam interns. I remember she pulled me at McDonald's and was like, her and Nicole with Kevin Mitchell was like, let me see this book. What do you got, drawings in this book? Let me see this.
I'm notoriously outspoken, right? From then on,
from then on, I was kind of, I saw what Jazz was doing. I was like, okay, yeah. These are the type of people that I want to be around and I need to be around because everybody's motivated and they're dedicated and there's a truth in what they're doing. It's not fake. And, I think that's the big thing in marketing now is, you got a lot of people marketing stuff, but are they really marketing? They're putting up a drink or this power energy drink. Are they really drinking that drink? Are they really believe it? Do they really believe in that stuff? Like everybody that we were around, all of you guys, I knew whatever your specific talent, whatever that was, I knew you breathed it, you ate it. I used to sit in Jamil's room for hours and just everybody was so focused. And I was like, I got to be that focused. And you guys were the people that could help. If we did it together, we could do anything. And that's what I always have taken away from that. And as of even now, that's what I try to, let the young ones know, teaching when I was at Omega, and even now in my, at the contract that I'm at, I manage a lot of people. A lot of them are younger people. And these are people that have come up as, children of hip hop and that energy, and they want to know what to do with that energy. And they, it's our duty to be able to, I think, bring that to them and let them know that it's okay to do what you want or not necessarily have,
Thank you, guys.
I miss you guys.
We miss you, Jazz.
I miss you guys too. So let's bring marketing into perspective. Thank you for all the introductions. I'm pretty sure the audience have gotten all the meat and potatoes of your life stories and after the conference and what CI means to you, and blessings to you all. Thank you so very much for sharing those stories. And I know behind the scenes that the rest of the founders of the Cultural Initiative and the Hip Hop Conference is feeling very fuzzy inside, that we had an influence upon your careers and your life and just maturity overall. And I really do thank you for sharing that. So marketing 2021. Marketing from 91 to 96 to 2021. Lance, you can actually show that flyer that we have on file for the conference of 1996, please. This is one of the graphic flyers that, I mean, if you blow it up on your screen, you can see Tupac, you can see you can see everyone. I mean, and this is the cutting edge of hip hop in the 90s, as you see in 1996, especially for a Black university. We're using photos, black and white photos, and I spoke with the graphic artist who actually designed this, which is Kyle Carithers, Shadow Productions. He's in the audience today, and he wanted to bring to my attention that not only did we cultivate the culture, not only were we serious activists, not only was Howard the Mecca, but we were the first for a lot of things in the marketing realm and spectrum. Kyle brought to my attention that because of the flyer, remember I told you we rented vans and we wrapped our vans. When I say wrap, we put tape on this flyer and posted it to a van. But we had, it wasn't 8.5 by 11. It wasn't 11.5 by 17. It was a size that wasn't ordinary. And Kyle brought to my attention a couple of days ago, like, Geisha, please mention that we use Black-owned print shops. We use Kinko's for copies, okay? But for the original creation of, say, 200 posters or 200 registration packets, he was our graphic designer. He used original Black-owned businesses in Washington, D.C. And at this point in time, he let me know yesterday that the print shop that he utilized, the Black-owned business that did the large print of this poster. I don't know what size it is. I can't read. I'm pretty sure he's probably in the chat saying it right now. But a Black-owned print shop did all of our graphics, all of our printing. This is what you call a four color production with all the photos and that type of thing. I mean, we were on the cutting edge, even on the marketing, the marketing aspect, as far as our flyers, our posters, our registration materials, and especially at a Black university. When we escalated to, when Derek, April said the story, she actually said the story in her panel. Derek, thank you, Derek, came, when he became registration coordinator, he was like, okay, listen, this is 1992, I do believe, the second or third conference. He was like, listen, no one is going to write out, we were writing out badges, okay? No one is going to write out badges for 200 registrants. And then that's registrants. Then we had to write out badges for the artists and the panelists, okay, for all of the parties and of course the panelists. And then the panelists or the artists may have a crew of 3 or 4. As April said, Coogee Rap came and he had a whole crew. So we were writing out physically, meaning, you know, just writing on a 3.5 by 5 card and punching a hole in the top and putting a lanyard to it. Derek was like, okay, no more of that. It's over. Thank you, Lance, for that graphic. No more of that. My father is working with a computer company, or he owns a computer company. Correct me if I'm wrong. we're going to get computers and some laminates. This is ridiculous. And what? The super way, by way, highways of modern technology entered Blackburn, and it was over. Thank you. Salute, Derek. We had laminate badges. Oh my goodness. You guys, listen, you would not believe. So I'm saying all this to say our marketing endeavors and marketing as a whole, as the evolution from posters to posts, stems a long way. And I wanted to show you that poster just as an example that now we have digital uploads. So all of the graphics that you see, everyone posted in regards to this event, that you see on our page, that you see on Instagram. Thank you so very much, Rick. I think your company is Creative 10. You're in the chat. Thank you so very much. He did the graphics. So now we're into uploads. Now we're into IG. Now we're into streaming. Now we're into Facebook and Instagram, which unfortunately I'm not a part of, but thank you so very much for my supportive team. They did their thing. And I want everyone to speak to that, especially those that have worked in that field, that utilize those various platforms to market. Say Derek comment, or say a movie. Derek is into film and TV at this point in time. So is Elsa. Big O is an international curator of trips and events internationally. And Cephas, like I said, you have a staff of 43 at the FDA, the Food Department of Administration. Please speak to that, of how marketing trends that you're seeing now, not from them, but now, that's influencing the market of the evolution of marketing. Anyone can start.
Well, I mean, I think you said we were the first in a lot of things, and that was from marketing to PR to the hip hop fashion show, to the discussions that we had on the actual panels. There were other conferences that had aspects of hip hop music, but we were completely hip hop music in every aspect of the culture. So it was the music, it was the fashion, it was the everything. So just, I think we were able to be pioneers in a lot of those things, even though we don't give ourselves the credit for it and we don't get credit for it. But we did a lot of firsts at the conference. So, and it taught me adaptation too, which I'm still learning, with all the new technology today, and being set in my ways and how I did PR, building from the ground up. That's just not how things are done now. It is upload, and it is a ready-made market that people want to come into. So you have to adapt to that. Yeah, Derek, I think you wanted to say something.
Oh no, I mean, I was gonna say, I think one of the fundamentals, and I spoke about it earlier, that I got from the hip hop conference, was really the art of networking. And I think when you think about, marketing now and just business in general, a lot of it goes to your ability to network. But, because of the modern era we live in, that networking is done through social media, various aspects of social media. So I think it's important, if you're in marketing, if you're in business in general, you have to have a grasp of social media. I think that goes to your point also about adaptation, right? You now have to adapt to a new way of doing business, right? Keeping that same hustle, that same know-how that we've always had, but now just adapt it to a different way of doing business. And that's through social media. I mean, it used to be, and I'm sure, we can all speak to it. I think, Elsa, you spoke to it earlier about trying to call panelists to be involved in. Now you can Google somebody's name, their LinkedIn, and you have their personal information in 2 minutes, right, or less, right? So your ability to just connect with people, connect with businesses, connect with executives is just made so much easier through the internet, through social media. And I think it's really just, how do you master that into what it is you're doing on a day-to-day basis, right? And just utilize, that mechanism of, social media, the internet, and all of those things. I mean, everything is at our fingertips right now, and I think, it's probably it's one of the most interesting time periods that we're in.
Derek's point, I was saying that, I'm sorry, go ahead. Oh,
Go ahead, Jazz. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say to Derek's point, he's right. But a lot of people just don't really know or understand the value of marketing overall, right?
Thank you.
So
Thank
we
you,
know,
Jazz.
like, they don't know, like, you can't be successful in a business without, marketing. And people, think that, okay, I can just put up a post and, that's going to be effective and that's going to draw attention or that's going to make money. That's not it, right? So marketing, we know, by definition, is communication, right? Between who? The buyer and a seller, or the messenger. So that it's that message that's in between, that causes the activity, creativity, delivering, messaging, right? But with excitement. And once you have that foundation in terms of marketing, everybody can't market, period. And I'll go back, right? Everyone cannot market, and it has become a blessing for us, or a blessing, I can speak for myself, for me, to have that niche. And like I said in the very beginning, I didn't know that it was marketing. I just knew that it was just all about having fun and talking and stopping people in McDonald's, oh my gosh, Cephas, and stopping people in Blackbird, Omar. But it's about a strategy of communicating, right? And I just feel like once you have an understanding of that strategy, then whatever means, right? So I always say that marketing is this overall umbrella of communications, and there are thousands of ways that you can market, right? Social media, well, I want to say the ascension, right, or the movement of marketing for the past 30, 40 years, has ended up, or where we are now is digital. But still, a lot of people can't master that because they don't even understand the foundation of what marketing truly is, right? And I just feel like, yes, social media is where it is right now. It is. You have, apps like Clubhouse, who was came out in September, billion-dollar company, in January, right? Valuated $1 billion. So at the end of the day, we know that these applications are useful and can be used to quote unquote market, but it is not just about, hey, I'm going to put up a post. Hey, I'm going to put up, a Clubhouse room. It is about a strategy, about the how to. And that's, one of the things that I always like to teach in my class. I'm a professor now, a full-time professor, administrative professor at Monroe College. They call me the hip hop professor because, that's the stand that I stand on. That's, the history in which I, would love to just continue to input into our next generation. But at the end of the day, marketing, whether you do it online, offline, social media, whether you go on the train, it's about strategy. And that's the thing that we kind of have to continue to push, that marketing message. What's your message? What's your strategy? What are you trying to do? What goals are you trying to, accomplish? So it's not just like, okay, I have a smartphone and I have a pretty picture. Marketing is not just a pretty picture, if that makes any sense to any of us.
Thank God for what you just said. And to jump in, hope I don't turn it into something else, but we're in a pandemic, and the beauty of the pandemic is that we have to reset a lot of things. And a lot of marketing and marketing strategies and so forth needs resetting because people just got lazy. We came into button pushers calling themselves marketers. And it just became stale. Someone would see a trend that was going on and they'll implement that or like post that picture up and so forth. And that was it. And that became people saying, oh, that's marketing. And I just think overall, we do need a reset, but with our marketing trends and things that we're doing and how we're pushing out our businesses and so forth, we need to reset that also. A very close friend of mine just passed, and I'm devastated. He was big in marketing for Campbell and Kraft, and he always said this to me. And he was like, he would big me up and be like, yo, oh, a brand is a promise. You know, he's like, and yo, you always promise people what they want. He's like, always remember that a brand is a promise. And you, unfortunately, today you have too many people out there. Pardon if I'm sounding like the old school rapper, you know, but too many people out there having a brand and not promising anything and putting up their chest talking about, yo, I'm marketing, you know. So with that said, we just need to reset a lot of our ideologies with marketing also. So kudos to all you guys, especially to everything that Jazz just said.
I agree wholeheartedly, Omar. It's just all about, people don't realize that it's about the relationship. Yep, it's about relationship. It's about what you promise, what you plan to deliver. Like, you want people to actually, purchase your product, brand, or service, right? Or buy your album, buy your record, but tell their mother, tell their cousin, right? Tell their brother, tell their aunt. And then they, communicating back with them. So I totally agree.
Exactly.
And it's just all about
jumping again with a CI experience. Like when we were doing stuff for CI and it was like flyers and posters at that time, we gave out flyers and put up posters, but our nonverbal communication was on point, So we would hand somebody a flyer, we'd have eye contact and be like, come to our conference, come to our parties. I'll never forget, as marketing supposedly evolved, and when I got to New York, people was handing out flyers and they were like, come on, son. And the same thing is happening now. So we gotta reset, man. We gotta, a lot of people saying they marketers and marketing companies, and we gotta reset. We gotta do better.
I'm sitting here listening to you all and the experience that we all, as students, please believe we were all students. We were not in the music industry. We all had different majors. We did not come to Howard to be directors and coordinators of a national hip hop conference that led the nation or led the nation in the collegiate level to see everything that we're expressing here today. Like, I mean, the stories that you guys are expressing is incredible. From the loyalty to the team working, to the team building, to really overstanding, not understanding, but overstanding, what marketing is. Now I want to talk about, they always say, in 2021, we're talking about branding. In 1996, in 1994, in 1993, we didn't know anything about branding. What we did know, we knew that there were companies. There were companies that we were trying to reach out to, sponsorship, Sprite, Tommy Hilfiger. Let's talk about the fashion show. We have marketing trends. Okay. And like I said, when I first started, marketing drives sales. Sales drive revenue. That still has not changed. The verbiage or the vernacular may have changed for marketing, like branding. Okay, maybe, excuse my ignorance, I don't remember branding being in a conversation in the 90s. I remember, Sprite and Tommy Hilfiger and there was another one, several different companies when we reached out for sponsorship. Well, we want to make sure that we get the most for our buck. We want to make sure that, we get a backdrop, or we want to make sure that we have a table, or, that type of thing. It wasn't a branding type of conversation, if I recall correctly. Tim may be able to correct me. Elsa may be able to correct me, because we dealt with a lot of sponsorship. They wanted some sort of visual amongst the registrants for their sponsorship and their product. So let's move in. I mean, let's talk about the fashion show and how we set trends. All of you guys were there.
Shout out to Jennifer Gums in the comments.
Jen,
You know what I'm saying? I can't see the comments. I would love to see the comments. Also, I'm going to let you take the lead because you brought it to my attention in regards to, and I don't want to shout any company or any individual out, but these are facts. This panel right here is true facts. We were on the grind. Elsa worked with sponsorship. And these stories are true stories. These are not fabricated stories. We talk with executives or executives assistants from the highest level. There is from Puffy to, go ahead, Elsa, tell the story.
Well,
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. Tell the story as you know it.
The story as I know it is we went to Fat Farm, who was an up and coming hip hop label, fashion label at the time. And, you know, because it was run by Russell Simmons, it was huge. And we were denied sponsorship because we weren't corporate enough for, he wanted to be high fashion, not hip hop fashion. But, you know, we went on, we had sponsorship from Cross Colors, we had sponsorship from other labels, we had sponsorship from AACA that Cephas mentioned earlier, from our very own Chris Latimer, who's a Howard alum. What was Kenya's fashion label?
Tri Vibe.
Tri Vibe.
I'm going to mention that as well. Tri Vibe, yes.
Yeah. And, you know, just our perseverance in believing in what we had and what we could do, we put on our hip hop fashion show. And now you look today and everybody not only is playing hip hop music, but they have nothing but hip hop fashions in their fashion show. So, you know, you just have to believe in what you're doing, know that what you're doing is right. And, you know, no matter who wants to help you do that, you just got to make it happen. So.
And let me speak to the fact that shout out to Aaron, Kawamba Enterprises, Kenya with Tri Vibe. You know, they were major vendors on campus during our hip hop conference. I think everyone had a painted Tri Vibe or a Kawamba hat with the fire on it. I mean, come on, let's go. Let's get it. Okay. Watching what was it? The Prince of Bel-Air, Will Smith had on a Tri Vibe painted shirt. Mm-hmm. The Marlon Wayans show, the sitcom, had a Tri Vibe painted shirt on. I mean, like I said, we broke barriers in the realm of marketing. You can't have any product, any service, any company, any entrepreneur ever endeavor without some sort of marketing. And I'm just blessed to say that the Culture Initiative, we did it. We did it. You know, I mean, for us, by us. Y'all remember FUBU?
Yeah.
It's sad to say also too that it's sad to say also that during our fashion shows, we reached out to the other side of fashion, and we had no problems in getting their gear. We had Ralph Lauren. I mean, not Ralph Lauren, but Tommy Hilfiger was a sponsor. I mean, really? But we couldn't get our own. We couldn't get our own to sponsor us on a Black college campus. But it's okay. Like Elsa said, we moved on. And we have accomplished our mission. And I'm proud to say that. So let's go back to that word brand. I like to know myself, brand versus marketing versus all of the other verbiage that you actually bring into play when you're saying, oh, we're branding. What does that mean? I'm going to give that to Jazz.
So amazing question. And a lot of people, they get all the marketing lingo all mixed up, or all the words actually mean the same, right? But we said earlier that marketing is communication, right? Activity. If you are a true and great marketer, then your marketing always has to be moving. It has to be some fluid in it. You have to be always be communicating, but then you always have to leave some room for some feedback, right, from your customers regarding, right, your whatever it is you're selling, whatever it is, whatever that exchange is, right? Your product, right? Your service, your intellectual property, that's all the things that's up for the exchange, right? So marketing exists because you can identify, right, the needs of the customer, but then you also have to satisfy them. You satisfy whatever need there is, right? So once you have a great understanding of what we call marketing, or the activity of, right, we have to keep in mind that it's an action word, right? We have to understand the difference between, marketing and then a brand, or branding, right? And branding is what the customer actually sees and or understands your company to be. So right off the bat, right, your Nike logo brands, right? That's the brand that we know. Whereas Nike can sell 30 million shoes under the Nike brand. It's what the customer knows your, I want to say, your company or your service or your offering, in terms of what we call in marketing, you're offering, what are you offering it to be? And a great, brand always has some sort of personal aspect, right? Some sort of personality, just making you love the brands and make sure that you continue to come back. But I feel like once you have a great understanding of the differences, it's easier for us as, marketers, or easier for people as marketers to kind of, understand the strategy. If you are creating a brand, or if you want the customer to recognize the brand or fall in love with your brand, you have to make sure that you touch them on their level, right? You market to them on their level, i.e. Tide, right? i.e. Gucci, i.e. Again, Nike, i.e. even the Howard brands, right? Because I saw a meme the other day, everyone in the world wants to wear a Howard t-shirt, but not everyone can say, alumni, or, Howard from, or Howard since. So it's just all about, what the customer is able to believe, identify with, relate to, understands. And, a brand should be living and breathing, if that makes sense.
Derek, real quick, what is your take on brand versus marketing versus promotion? What's your take on branding? Like, what is it that, did we do a branding when we were at Howard? Is Cultural Initiative a brand? Would you say, what's your take on that?
You asked a lot of questions in that one, but I don't think we understood what we had when we were doing the Cultural Initiative, right? We were at the forefront of something that was way bigger than us. I mean, if you just think about everything we're talking about, every point of influence that we've had, even all the people on this panel and on the panels earlier, we were at the cusp of, of this entire hip hop movement, right?
Yeah.
And I don't even think we understood it. We were in it, right? It's, it's like the saying goes, sometimes you can't see the forest through the trees, right? And I think if we understood then, obviously, what we know now, we'd probably be doing things a little bit differently. But so, I think, look, in many ways, we were successful at executing the conference and those things. But in terms of creating a brand of the Cultural Initiative and that aspect, not beyond 96, if I'm not mistaken. Was that the last conference in 96?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, it should have been and could have potentially been something that's still living to this day. Because to this day, there hasn't really been a full-fledged, hip hop conference that, especially on a student level, right? That, there were conferences like, at the same time, the New Music Seminar, which is probably the largest music conference at that time, but you know, they had 1 or 2 panels talking about hip hop, right? Our whole conference was about hip hop.
And that's what makes us unique, Derek. That's why, you know, we're having this celebration. Not to cut you off, I do apologize, but that I had to interject there. That is what makes the Cultural Initiative Hip Hop Conference very unique, one of its kind. And I tried to get that out there in the graphics, that we're not the first hip hop conference, but we are the first hip hop conference on a collegiate level and at a HBCU. So there's 2 firsts there. So please be clear, audience. You know, we're not trying to take the claim of fame from anyone else, but we do want everyone to realize that, yes, there was 1,000 music seminars. Like you said, Derek, there were, you know, quite a few music seminars on other college campuses, maybe at HBCUs, but I know there was a lot of radio conferences dedicated to different genres of music. I mean, it was a big industry scene on college campuses. But the one thing that was not there on college campuses, and we can take the claim to fame, is that our entire conference was dedicated to hip hop. And believe me, we did have pushback in that arena when we went to get sponsorship, when we went to radio. Well, why don't you call it the music conference at Howard University? No, because it's not a music conference. We are not including all genres of music. We are only including hip hop. So it is the hip hop conference at Howard University. So papers, publicity, media outlets were like, that's a little too, you know, direct, if I may say.
Yeah.
I am getting a lot of, I just want to shout out to everybody in all the departments, the fashion show, Aya, who actually did all the fashion shows, or the first couple fashion shows, Kenya. I'm sorry?
That's it, Aya Davis.
Aya Davis, yes. And Kenya, Jen. I just want to shout out everyone because, you know, time is of the essence. And I do want to open the floor for questions and answer. I can't see the chat for some reason. I'm not computer savvy, and I don't want to go over too much time. I do appreciate everyone's comments. My esteemed panelists, I do appreciate you all. I think we touched several aspects. One question before we open the floor. I always wanted to know this. Thanks, John. I love that. That's the 4-color process. I love that. You know, these are some of our flyers from the beginning. You know, other college campuses, other professional conferences had 4-color process flyers, and so did we. So I just want to brag about that. Shout out to Kyle Carruthers and Shadow Production. I appreciate you, brother. You know, that's for the hip hop fashion show, the first of its kind. I love it. The one question that, you know, that really, when it comes to marketing too, and I just want the audience to know that, you know, there's a difference. I do believe that from marketing to promoting, street promotions. We were street promoters. Every record label back then had street promoters. You know, street promoters in every city. So when Erica dropped her Baduism, you know, Kedar Entertainment, thanks to Kelly, we had street promoters in every single city, especially the majors, California, Detroit, Chicago, New York City. You know, and they posted flyers everywhere. I'm talking about phone booths. We had 3x5s. We had palm flyers. We had, you know, the huge flyers that you would see on abandoned buildings. That's promotion, marketing. You know, I just like to hear your take on Big O, Elsa. You know, what's the difference between marketing, promotions, having street teams? You know, just so individuals will know, you know, and very brief, we are over time, and I do want to open up the floor.
Oh, you're the promoter here.
My bad, I was muted. Between marketing and promotions, pardon if I take it somewhere else also, but as I mentioned before, we are in a pandemic. And something that is frustrating to me that I mentioned before also is that a lot of our marketing and ideologies with marketing got stale. And moving forward, I would just say that we need to evolve, but things need to also become full circle. Because even with, we're saying we're doing marketing and we're pushing buttons and putting things on social media, we got lazy, and we need to evolve in a lot of that stuff. And I think moving forward, I think that we need to bring it all full circle, and we need to be a little more personable. I know things are crazy right now and we're not even able to touch each other and so forth. But one thing Pastor said is that we can't just keep thinking about the past. So we got to think, we have to know that greener pastures are in the future. And with that said, we have to think how we have to move forward. And I think marketing, promotion, so forth, moving forward is a combination of what we did back then and what we're doing right now, So I think we have to, we lost with social media how to interact with one another. It's kind of like what I mentioned before, where someone hands you a flyer and look away like this. Well, today they're sending you a post, your friends on social media, but when you see each other and you would have this dialect online, when you see each other, the person is just skirting going that way. To me, that throws their product out the window, or their marketing efforts or what have you. So we lost all of that. And moving forward, we need to gain a lot of that back. Pardon, I took it somewhere else, but it's just something that really gets to me. And it's something that I see like every day where we're making that mistake, because a lot of times when you look at a product, a lot of times we are the product, and you're investing in that person. So you could see the post online, but when you have that interaction and it's less than, it takes away from all of that effort. So part of my rant.
I just said something really quickly. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Jeff.
I was just gonna say, I just told the story the other day, Omar, which is insane. The difference between, what we call traditional marketing and social media marketing. And I remember when I was an intern, having to do a promotion, right, to support LL Cool J's pink cookies in a plastic bag, right? And what I had to do was put thousands of pink cookies in little baggies, right? And then I had to had a bag of tokens, New York City, right? Tokens. And I had to ride around New York City promoting pink cookies in a plastic bag. So I want to say it propelled relationships, right? I knew every DJ, every what we call influencer, everyone that worked in the record stores back then. It developed a relationship that I still have to this day, right? And now in comparison, I could just easily right now put, a bag of pink cookies, right, on Instagram, and then, do a post or do a live, but the difference is relationship, Omar. So I totally agree with you. So yeah, we can evolve 30 years, but the bottom line is that a lot of these new world marketers, they don't have the relationships because all they do is post, right? So if I know who I am talking to and I have this relationship with, DJ Envy or, any of the DJs, there's a difference in that. And I do agree with what you call this reset, because if, it starts with the relationship. And thank you for bringing that up, sir. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I have an international tourism and marketing company, and we are in tough times. And I know moving forward, I'm doing a combination of all of that. Like I'm doing posts, I'm being personable. Like I might not put up posters, but I'm gonna have little flyers the size of business cards. Like you got to hit the ground moving, and you actually remember those things more than posts, Yeah. So I think moving forward, and for everyone to know, that's how we have to move forward in regards to marketing, like.
Oh, your application, that's marketing as well. You have to be approved to become a part of the movement.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I want to be conscious of time. Elsa, make it short, sweet, and to the point.
No, just short, sweet, and to the point. What both of they were saying is what I was going to say. Is it goes back to the foundation. We said it here, and they said it in the panel before us. Is you have to know the foundation in order to understand any of the new stuff. Just if I don't talk about publicity, stay on quiet will kill me.
That is correct. Yes, I remember that. Yes, please.
you know,
publicity versus marketing. Please answer that. What's the difference?
To me, publicity is a part of marketing. It, like Jazz says, it's all a part of communication, but with publicity, it's about selling the particular product and its personality, what the product does for the community, what the product does for you, what the artists, what they as a person, how they relate to you, how their music relates to you. That's where publicity comes in. That's where the articles and getting to know the artists and the product comes in. So that's the difference. It's not what it has evolved into more recently, which is more event promotions or, you know, access to events and parties. That's not really public. That's not the foundation. Let me put it that way. That's not the foundation of public relations. Articles and getting to know the artists and the product comes in. So that's the difference. It's not what it has evolved into more recently, which is more.
We're having some technical difficulties.
What she just said.
What she just said. Yes, we have some technical. So we will open the floor for I guess the next 10 minutes. Are there any questions? I can't see the chat. So Elsa, if you see any, or Lance, or the back of the house, are there any questions for the panelists, or overall in regards to this marketing panel? Elsa or anyone that is monitoring the chat, Derek, Cephas, if you guys can see the chat. I can't see the chat.
Lance, do we have any questions? I don't see any questions outright.
All right, sounds good. Cephas, you've been very quiet. I'd like for you to take us out in regards to, you know, just your field of study in regards to the AV audio. That's very important in any industry, you know, just like we just did this entire weekend, or we're doing this entire weekend. You may not have been in marketing, but your field of expertise is very important in marketing a product like this.
Well, I think, you know, I was definitely urban street promotions.
Exactly. We did it. We did it, baby.
You know, working with, you know, Ducky and Relativity and Delicious Vinyl, all those. Yeah. So, you know, I remember I was the rep for them. So, you know, I come from that. But what I think is the big thing to think about now is the social media is just a tool. You know, and the tool is available to the masses. And just like any tool when it first comes out, like auto-tune, everybody's going to overuse it or not know what to do with it. But at a certain point, the people that realize what it is and what it can do, and it's just a tool, it's not going to take the place of, like O said, really talking to somebody. I know what I ended up being really good at is seeing the vibration and the frequency of the people that I was around and attaching something to that, whether that be a product, a party that's going on, introducing certain people. That type of interaction is always going to be, as Elsa said, the foundation. And whether that's audio, video, any kind of technology, it's about learning that technology, but then understanding that it's the people using the technology that is what matters. And if we're trying to communicate, as Jazz says, we have to tell a story. And, you know, I was talking to Jennifer last night, Jennifer Gums, and, you know, we don't have a lot of pictures or a lot of footage. Lance probably has the most of the conference. Why? Because the technology wasn't there at our fingertips like it is today. And we were working so hard and working with so many hats that we weren't focused on, you know, are we documenting? As now the whole thing is, hey, document your story, get your story out so it's personable to other people. So we were putting it out for everyone else to consume. But we just have to remember that there's new tools out there. The tools will normalize. People will learn how to use it. I know people are zoomed out or whatever you use, but there's right now, and O brought this up, right now it's COVID. It's a pandemic. we know politically what has gone on in the last couple of years with the marches and just the craziness. Imagine the artists and the youth and the new people that you don't even know that are right now, like digging in crates of records or taking pictures or figuring out some new thing that you don't even know what it is now. And they're gonna come out. And as marketers, promoters, whatever you wanna call it, we need to be able to help them connect to the world. And that's what I would end on.
It's gonna take us to be open to that.
Right. Right.
Take us to be open to that.
Thanks,
But it's
Cephas. I
also
appreciate
about
it.
survival.
I'm sorry?
Just to resound what Cephas was saying, it's about survival.
Oh,
So we have to be
survival,
open,
yes.
but we have to survive as well.
And adaptation. You know, we are in a pandemic. So if you had a nervous breakdown because, you know, you're used to going into the office and you couldn't relate to working at home remotely, you know, those are, it's adaptation. Just like Jazz said in our meeting off camera, you know, adaptation is everything to the successful of any type of business that you're running at this point in time. I do see a question that two young people who are listening are artists. Their question is how to build their tribe. So I'm assuming their tribe team. I'm assuming they're asking, how do I build a team that will assist in facilitating the success of me being an artist? The same way that you see these esteemed panelists on this panel, 30 years ago as students, you choose people. Now I had 100, maybe 150 people come into the office like, I want to volunteer. But as soon as you put them to work, stuffing envelopes, going across campus, going to the post office, bringing back heavy boxes of tchotchkes and badges, or, going downtown, riding on the bus to get, go to our PO box, they work, manual work, labor, they drop off. So out of 100, now you may have 25. Those 25, they survived. There's work to be done. So you want to choose your tribe, or you want to choose your team that first and foremost in 2021 that have skills. You want to make sure that you have someone that can maneuver and know the super highways and byways, meaning the internet. You want to have someone in your corner or on your team that is a public speaker, that speaks well, that can represent you. You want to have a person on your team that is business management savvy, that can wheel and deal and have the gift of gab. You want someone on your team that is a lawyer, that is an accountant, that knows someone that knows what streaming is, that knows what being an independent artist is, and that is going to tell you the truth about your skill, whether you need more work, whether you need honest people around you. Young people, you need honest people around you. You need dedicated people, and you need skilled labor. You need people that have been in the industry, that knows what to do in independent situations. A lot of record companies now, it's all about numbers. If you are independent artists, or if you are artists looking for a career in any industry, if you don't have a YouTube video, or you're not on TikTok, or you're not on IG and have 500,000 followers, it's going to be tight for you. It's going to be a challenge for you. You need followers. That's where we are now. It's not about going to a label on Broadway, what is it, 1755 Broadway. That's Universal Records. That's my home. It's not about going in there pitching anything. You need numbers. Derek, really quickly, we have 6 minutes in regards to artists that are looking for a team and what they need to know.
I mean, I think you said it. I think you said it all.
Okay.
In terms of bringing the right team around you and making sure you have people that can play certain positions and understand the positions that they need to play to be vital to the success of the team overall. And, understand that, not one person can do everything. You got to get the key people in there that know what they're doing, that know these different nuances of the business now, to help guide you to success.
Thank you so very much, you guys. I want to salute all of my esteemed panelists. Thank you so very much. Please tune in to PowerMove TV tomorrow. Starts at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will have the moderator, which Sayon Quiet, Vice President. She held the office of Vice President of Public Relations for the 5 years when we formed the Culture Initiative, our company that sponsors the annual hip hop conference at Howard University. Her panel will begin at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that is the business model, the evolution of the business model, Seizing the Cultural Initiative. Panelists, Matt Middleton, Cheryl Marks, I do believe, Kelly Green, and Guru. I'm sorry?
Tracy Lee on that panel?
And I'm sorry?
That is Tracy Lee on that panel, I think.
Tracy Lee may be on that panel, and like I said, the Young Guru. So please tune in tomorrow, PowerMove TV, 3 p.m. And everyone is texting me for some reason. Okay, I know. Promotions for the after party. Plug. Stay tuned to PowerMove TV tonight. After the after party. This is the Hip Hop Conference, 30-year celebration. Let's rock out. DJ Parlay, DJ John Doe, DJ Paul Howard. I don't know if Young Guru gonna get on the wheels of steel, but please stay tuned for the after power. Salute. Love you guys.
It was great to see you all and build with you all. Love you.
What's up?
Peace.
Yeah, thank you all.
For having me. Blessings. It's a pleasure to see you guys.